7 True Most Disturbing Canadian Small-Town Horror Stories. Untold Fears. Canada is often painted as a land of peace, politeness, and breathtaking wilderness. But far from the bustling cities and tourist trails, small towns across the country hide disturbing secrets. Isolated communities, endless forests, and unforgiving winters create the perfect backdrop for chilling encounters that defy explanation. These stories, drawn from local legends, eyewitness accounts, and unsolved mysteries, remind us that even in the most peaceful corners of the world, darkness can thrive. So tonight, let's dive deep into 7 true most disturbing Canadian small-town horror stories that will make you think twice before venturing into the shadows of these quiet places. Story 1. The Vanishing Hitchhiker of Kenora, Ontario. Kenora sits on the edge of Lake of the Woods, a town wrapped in thick forests and endless highways. For decades, truckers have whispered about a young woman seen walking barefoot along the Trans-Canada Highway late at night. She waves down drivers, pleading for help, her dress torn, her skin pale. One trucker swore he picked her up, shivering and silent, before she vanished from the passenger seat just as they reached town. Police dismissed it as fatigue, but locals whisper of a young woman who went missing there in the 1960s, never found. Was she murdered? Did she drown in the icy waters of the lake? No one knows, but many still see her on lonely nights, always walking toward town, but never arriving. Story 2. The Haunting of Tranquille Sanatorium, Kamloops, BC. Tranquille was once a tuberculosis hospital in the early 1900s, later an asylum, and finally abandoned. Near the small community outside Kamloops, its crumbling halls echo with screams of the forgotten. Local teenagers often dared each other to sneak inside, but some came back changed. One boy claimed he saw a nurse wheeling an empty gurney, only for it to roll down the hallway by itself. Another swore he heard doors slamming and whispers calling his name, though no one was there. Farmers nearby tell of lights flickering in the empty building at night. Some even believe the underground tunnels, once used to transport the dead, are still active, echoing with footsteps of the patients who never left. Story 3. The Wendigo of Renfrew County, Ontario. In rural Renfrew County, just outside small farming villages, lies a chilling legend rooted in Algonquin folklore, the Wendigo. In the winter of 1944, a trapper went missing in the deep woods. Search parties found his camp torn apart, his rifle bent as if by something impossibly strong. Tracks in the snow were long, skeletal, not human, not animal. Weeks later, his body was discovered, frozen, gnawed to the bone. The coroner said wolves. Locals said Wendigo. They swore they'd heard the wind carry screams that winter, cries that weren't human. To this day, elders warn never to wander too deep into the woods when hunger and cold grip the land, because something out there still hungers. Story 4. The Phantom Train of St. Louis, Saskatchewan. Near the small town of St. Louis, residents have reported a strange light along the abandoned railroad tracks since the 1920s. It appears at night, glowing bright white or red, moving like a train that no longer exists. One explanation is swamp gas, another is headlights from distant cars. But skeptics crumble when locals tell their stories. A farmer once saw the light split in two, one orb moving toward him until it hovered just feet away before disappearing. Legends say it's the ghost of a brakeman decapitated in a railway accident, searching for his lost head with a lantern. Tourists come to see it, but those who've witnessed it up close describe a feeling of dread, as if something unseen is watching from the darkness. Story 5. The Disappearance at Musgrave Harbour, Newfoundland. In 1990, a fisherman from Musgrave Harbour left home one foggy morning to check his nets. His boat was found drifting hours later, engine idling, nets full, but he was gone. Locals whispered of old hag syndrome, a Newfoundland legend where a witch-like figure sits on your chest as you sleep, stealing your breath. Some believed he was taken by spirits of the sea. What unsettled the town most wasn't just his vanishing, it was the weeks afterward. His wife claimed to see him standing at the shoreline, soaked and silent, before disappearing into the fog. Others swore they heard knocking on their doors at night, but no one was there. To this day, his body has never been found. Story 6. The Ghost Town of Balaclava, Ontario. Balaclava, once a thriving lumber mill town, is now abandoned. Rusting machinery sits in the overgrown forest, windows boarded up, silence thick. Locals warn that if you wander through the ruins after dark, you'll hear the mill running again, saws buzzing, men shouting, logs crashing into the river. In the 1890s, a tragic accident saw a worker pulled into a saw, his screams echoing through the town. Not long after, the mill closed, and Balaclava died. But the echoes remain. Some visitors have recorded voices in the empty buildings. Others report seeing a man covered in blood, still working the mill, forever repeating his final moments. Story 7. The Curse of Kootenay Lake, British Columbia. The serene Kootenay Lake hides a darker side. For generations, the Katunaxa people spoke of a massive serpent-like creature in the waters, a guardian spirit disturbed by settlers. In 1972, two teenage boys from a small lakeside town went missing while canoeing. Their canoe was found capsized, claw marks etched into its side. Their bodies never surfaced. Fishermen claimed to see something massive moving beneath their boats, too big to be a sturgeon, too fast for a log. A retired RCMP officer swears he saw a head rise from the lake one night, eyes glowing before sinking silently beneath the waves. The town whispers of a curse, that those who disrespect the waters vanish, taken by the serpent that still guards the lake. Closing thoughts. From haunted hospitals to phantom trains, from ancient curses to modern vanishings, these 7 true Canadian small-town horror stories prove that even in places known for beauty and peace, darkness hides in the shadows. So, the next time you pass through a quiet little town in Canada, ask yourself, what secrets does it keep? And if you hear whispers in the wind, or footsteps in an empty room, will you be the one to uncover its untold fears, or become the next story whispered in the dark?